Ondo crypto will fail, and I mean miserably, because of what I'm going to explain in this video. Now listen, I've had a lot of questions recently about Ondo and about the problems it's going to be facing when the Ondo global markets and Ondo chain are about to launch. And I did some deep digging into this concept, into this idea, and what I found shocked me. I see value in Ondo, but not really in the token itself. If they, being Ondo, launch a new token with their new layer 1, then the current Ondo token is a lot less desirable to invest in. I like Ondo as a business, but what drives value to the token, aka why would anyone want to buy the Ondo token to begin with? What happens to Ondo's new token when the layer 1 is released? That's the only thing stopping me from adding more to my position. I also won't buy Ondo because the token has no use case that's worth holding. Ondo has no use case? Have you heard about RWA and all the things happening at the Ondo summit? Ondo, the company, is doing very well and it will continue to do well, but the token has no use. There is a difference between the token and the company. So it's time to answer this question once and for all. Will the Ondo token fail because of the Ondo global markets, and mostly because it's launching a new layer 1? And what's happening with the current Ondo token? And most importantly, what am I doing? Do I actually think it's going to be rendered useless when the new layer 1 is launched? I'll provide you my personal insights at the very end of the video. But for the most part, the answer is going to be quite simple. It's going to be comparing Ondo to its prestige counterparts, and that is stocks. You've got to ask yourself, why does anyone buy a stock in the first place? And actually, I can answer that question for you. It's for three main reasons. Capital appreciation, aka the price going up to make me some of that good hard-earned green stuff. Dividends, passive green stuff. And ownership or governance. You can own part of a company. If you own enough of it, you can even be on the board of directors, which means essentially you can control and sway decision-making within the company itself. And the question you're probably sitting there asking, well, Kyron, that makes a bit of sense. We all know about buying stocks, but what does Ondo offer? Well, funnily enough, as you can see, it's a pretty easy answer. Capital appreciation, tick. That's what stocks do for the most part. That's why about 80% of people buy stocks in the first place. And 2 is ownership and governance. And that's already the main utility, the only utility really of the Ondo token. So by the comparison of stocks, then Ondo ticks all the boxes. So all the worries about, essentially Ondo having no real utility, ask yourself, do your favorite stocks have any kind of utility? Well, I'm going to get to why utility is one of the biggest facades in crypto. For some of you crypto geeks like myself out there going, well, Kyron, utility matters in crypto. Well, I'm going to tell you why it actually doesn't. Now, with the launch of Ondo global markets and the Ondo chain, many people have suspected that there's likely going to be a change in the Ondo dynamics. The Ondo token as we know it might completely non-exist, or they might make a new Ondo token, making this token irrelevant, rendering it obsolete. And to that, I completely disagree. I'm going to show you with this a little clip here from the Ondo Global Summit itself, where we do have a lot of insight into answering this question live, and it is amazing news. But to cut a long story short, there is going to be, as we now know it, no actual utility, no need for the Ondo token within the layer 1 omni-chain network itself. It's all going to be powered by real-world assets. That is the unbelievable unlock that Ondo has been able to do, and it makes the most amount of sense. You're not going to have BlackRock, Fidelity, and most of Wall Street jumping at using you if it meant having to buy up a token, having to literally give the monopoly to some new company and project like all the others that want to change the world. It doesn't make any sense, even with a project as highly connected as Ondo is. So I don't think the Ondo token itself, this token as we know and love right here on Ethereum, is going anywhere. It'll likely be cross-chain and somehow incorporated as a transferable asset in the omni-chain network. Now, in the worst case, and I don't think this will happen by the way, but in the worst case, let's say that Ondo decides to create a transfer or gas token. Again, they've come out and said that's not going to be the case, as you will soon see. It's kind of like if Ondo was doing a VeChain, for example, where VeChain, the main network here, worth 2 billion market cap, where they used and created this VeThor token, which is 180 million market cap, so 10 times smaller, where this is their gas token, solely for gas. Now you can see even in this case, which again we know it's not going to happen, you'll always have most of the speculation accrue in the main token itself. So again, here is that clip. Bear with me, it's worth the listen.
Enter the Ondo chain, a fundamental rethink of how institutions can participate on-chain and how RWAs can be scaled on-chain. Some of the core features that it will have are, number one, real-world assets as a gas token, and staking collateral.
So what does that really mean? What is having it as staking collateral and the gas token? That means that real-world assets, so the real-world assets that are tokenized on the Ondo global markets, essentially will be used as gas. So if you want to buy NVIDIA, you pretty much can give NVIDIA's stock for gas. They can accept that as gas. You don't have to use the Ondo token, and as staking collateral. That means, and I think he does go into this further in just a moment, that as BlackRock wants to become a validator, they can actually use NVIDIA's stock on their existing balance sheets as that collateral to become a validator to then begin earning rewards.
This means that the Ondo chain will enable the staking of high-quality liquid assets, real-world assets, and a little bit of crypto, but mostly real-world assets. The network will be proof of stake, but powered by real-world assets. This also means that you as an institution can participate and run a node just with the assets that you're already holding on balance sheet. But this way, you may be even to earn additional yield on them. This also means that you as an institution can actually run a node without ever having to touch crypto.
Now he mentions, very subtly by the way, that they can earn yield on their staked assets as a validator. Now, of course, if they've, staked their balance sheets, let's just keep it simple and say it's a whole bunch of NVIDIA stock. Does that mean that they get returns back, like staking rewards back as NVIDIA stock tokens? That is the part I'm unclear about. That is possibly where the Ondo token could come in, but I would probably dare say not. They'll probably be able to choose between a few different tokens in some way, shape, or form. Likely just simply stablecoins.
The validator set of the Ondo chain is not just going to validate transactions. They are also going to do other critical functions like publish the prices of an asset on-chain, verify the collateral that is backing on-chain securities on an ongoing basis, and sign off on bridging transactions whenever they're requested. By designing the Ondo chain this way, we enable it to do, or we achieve, a few things. The Ondo chain effectively eliminates the need to pay for and assume security risks of different providers of chain security, Oracle security, asset security, and bridging security. The Ondo validator set will take all this on.
In that sense as well, they understand one of the biggest problems in crypto is having to rely on third party after third party after third party with fetching things like cross-chain capabilities, like using a transfer agent, for example, like Wormhole or Layer 0, or an Oracle, for example, having to rely on Chainlink or having to rely on Pyth. They do it all themselves, which of course will make their institutional clients much more happy. As long as the Ondo network is secure and safe, everything is kosher. So why is utility one of the biggest facades in crypto? Well, as I mentioned, for starters, these tokens like Ondo can definitely have utility, but people are putting such a massive weight on it. It's like it's either have utility or it's not going to actually succeed at all. Every token in crypto has some kind of utility, whether you know it or not, right? Through escrow, governance, transaction fee, burn mechanism. Even meme coins have at least one of these to some degree. But the lie, and I want to emphasize lie, is that tokens need to have utility for price appreciation. This is completely wrong. The best and simplest example is, again, look at stocks. This is something I had to learn myself, guys, by the way. Not too long ago, actually, a couple of years back, I had to face the music myself, and it wasn't pretty. Price goes up from speculative buying. Utility altcoins like Ondos and like your ICPs and whatever other utility altcoin is out there are nothing more than meme coins coated in promises. Utility is promises. Hey, if people use our network, this is what's going to happen. And that's what's going to happen. But again, it's all simply promises. It's if this happens, then you can expect all this awesome stuff. And you go, okay, well, all this utility is there. That means if 1 billion people use this particular network, this is how much fees will generate. This is how much the project should grow, and so on. Now, I'm not listing the coins I just listed to say that they're bad coins. These are all obviously good coins, I do believe. I own them at least anyway. But most of these coins do not make good on their promises, do not make good on their utility, or essentially, hey, all we need is 1 billion users to use our network. And again, we're going to burn this much transactions. We're going to be deflationary and blah, blah, blah. It's all just an idea. They're all just meme coins. And these are just simply promises or fun theoreticals. The only two, and I want you guys to think about this, altcoins I personally know that have truly appreciated in value from actual utility are, number one, obviously Ethereum, because it's got the largest ecosystem in crypto. People need to buy the ETH token and they stake ETH in liquidity pools, and they also hold it for governance, and they stake it to validate the network, and it's always going to be expanding in that sense, like a massive sort of bull rolling down a hill, just simply because, again, people expect it to continue growing. It's kind of a form of, as we said before, price appreciation. If you expect the network to prosper, you're going to want to hoard the token more and use the ecosystem more. Number two is, of course, Solana. But this is a new one because this is only thanks to Pump Fund. Before Pump Fund, it didn't really have this going on. It's kind of like what happened to Ethereum, but on a much quicker time frame. So why? How can ICP, Injective, HBAR, and all the other utility coins have high active TPS, where they're generating, again, tens of thousands and at least multiple thousands of transactions a second? At least HBAR was doing 2,000 TPS constantly in the bear market. But why was it never going up in price? Why do they have growing addresses with active accounts in the millions every day, yet there is no constant price appreciation like this? These are the signs of what we would call good utility, but good utility isn't amounting to the price going up. So again, I want to reiterate, how can some projects have lots of utility and not go to the moon? It is all about token absorption. Funnily enough, this was something I brought up many moons ago. Years ago, I used to talk about this. No one used to watch my videos because this isn't a sexy topic, so I won't talk too much about it. But guys, it's all about speculation. It's all about speculation in a speculation market. Why do you think meme coins are in the multi-billions of market cap? That's why you need to look at the whole cryptocurrency market as nothing but a giant meme coin casino. Yes, ones like HBAR, XLM, Chainlink, Cardano, like these are genuine coins looking to actually solve real problems, even NIA. But again, where true utility comes in, if you're talking about having to adopt 1 billion users before the utility kicks in terms of actually boosting the project's price up, that is just a dream for now. So most of this is just simply speculation. And that's why you need to look at coins like Ondo and go, okay, just like stocks, are people going to look at Ondo and go, oh my God, look at who they're working with. They've tokenized $1 trillion. I'm not going to worry about it because there's no token absorption. No, people are looking at Ondo going, oh my God, they're working with BlackRock. They've tokenized $1 trillion. The price keeps going up because other people are getting FOMO and buying. I better not miss out. I better get in. It is where the market is, and it's where the market is still going to go in 2025. So think about the life cycle of a token when it comes to utility. Let's pretend governance and transaction fees were the only two bits of utility on, let's just call it Chiron coin. Now, I'm not going to go into what I've outlined here. The main reason is because it's going to take me at least 5 minutes to explain, and this isn't the video to do it. I obviously spent a good amount of time breaking these cycles down, so I will make a video on this in the near future. But essentially, governance, transaction fees, any other type of utility apart from burning, okay, literally burning the transactions or the tokens themselves, everything else is a temporary price appreciation vehicle, okay, which pretty much means that you can see here with governance, okay, the first step is someone buying the token on the open market. That takes tokens out of circulation. That's a good thing. That helps with price appreciation. But eventually, those tokens will come back into circulation. If it's not during the bull run, it's damn well going to be towards the end of it. Everyone in this industry, 99% of people are here to make money. Okay, so people locking up in governance, it's great. Usually it comes in the early stages of a bull market and usually unlocks in the later parts as well. Transaction fees are no different, but this happens on a much quicker time frame because people are buying up tokens to use for transaction fees to use the network. But in any sense, again, tokens always, this life cycle that happens, always find their way back. When it comes to transactions and high transactions, when it comes to anything in this market with utility, it is not going to matter for this bull run unless you're like a Solana, for example, or like a Sonic or a Near protocol that has a pump fund derivative or some sort of pump fund copycat that launches on it where you need the Solana or the Near token or the Sonic token for all of this insane demand that comes on. That's like what Ethereum has going for it, of course, but it's like a decade to build that up, of course. Just treat every coin as a meme coin. If it's a sexy business like Ondo with massive partners and it's got a lot going for it, that's of course speculation. That's literally all you need in the 2025 or 2026 bull run. Let's not forget as well, there's a lot of sexiness, if you will, for lack of a better term, going for Ondo here. It's partnered with MasterCard, okay? Part of their multi-token network now. It's partnered with PayPal. And again, I'm just randomly picking a bunch of recent updates here. I'm not even trying, okay? You can see here, instant 24/7 redemptions with PayPal stablecoin and one of Ondo's main products. Not to mention as well, Ondo will gain a lot of demand when it comes to the stable, Genius, and Fit21 acts in the US passing. And as I mentioned in last night's video, and as Sergey mentions here as well, regarding stablecoins, when you give billions of people and therefore have trillions of dollars already the foot in the door for crypto, when it comes to having Apple or it's Amazon or PayPal or MasterCard or again even banks and BNY Mellon or even entire nations having their customers or users already accessing stablecoins and therefore some kind of on-chain wallet, it's very easy to click the buy button on a stablecoin or click the buy button on any of your favorite altcoins. So that's what we're looking for here, and Ondo will pick up a lot of this demand. Ondo is right at the forefront when it comes to real-world assets. That includes stablecoins, that includes especially treasuries, and that will include commodities, that will include institutional funds, that will include stocks. This is all happening, and Ondo, like I said, is at that forefront. So the question being, Kyron, what's your thoughts on Ondo? Will the Ondo token go away? No. First and foremost, it is 100% going to go up. Well, again, not financial advice. Let me just say that right now. Because of capital appreciation. It's as simple as people are drawn to whatever's going to make them money. And if that means buying Ondo as a hedge into the growth of the Ondo chain and Ondo global markets and everything else Ondo's doing, they will do that. As we now know, there's going to be no competition, likely competition, of a new Ondo token being created on the layer one itself. And like I said, there is no need for utility. So guys, in my opinion, I hope you understand my bullishness on Ondo still. Nothing has changed. I've been talking about this coin for a long time now. I hope you have enjoyed. And if you have, drop me a like. I should bring my camera back in the next day or two. It's a little bit sick at the moment. But yeah, if you liked the video, drop me a like down below and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.